Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Kyal, for help. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. May Mullah Zaman be with us. May his Tawfiq, Ta'id, Himmat and Yari guide us. May the Noor be our light. May the Quran be the words. And may Ta'wīl be the understanding. Part 34, Parable and Allegories. Inshallah, unveiling the Bāținī Ta'wīlat of various parables of the wise Quran. How and whom does Allah guide and calls upon? In the very common understanding that Allah guides everyone as He is the Khaliq and Rabbul Izzat, as He is Rahim and Rahman. And His example for the common is the example of the sun, which shines upon all and everyone without any discrimination. But when we look in the Quran, there are different ways Allah have addressed humans, mu'mineens, believers, and others. There are commands of Allah which is common for all. One shall not kill. One shall not do bad. One shall be in or as a good human, a righteous. One shall pray. Those are the common command, not only in the Quran, but in all of the books of Allah and all of the religions of Allah. Regardless of what do we call those religions, regardless of how we understand those religions, regardless of what they believe in and what they do not believe in. For example, those who are not from the Abrahamic tradition, the one who believe in one Allah, even they are included in Allah's guidance and Allah's call commonly. Because Allah, without discrimination, just like a sun, every morning without discrimination shines on anything and everything. May it be the ground, rivers, buildings, roads, animals, humans, birds, good, bad, regardless, it shines on anything and everything. Just like that, God's common amr, guidance, and call is for all. Within those all, then Allah has some particular commands for the believers. E iman walon, for the righteous. O muttaqeen, for the followers. O mu'minuns. And then to those who are near him. O mukabreen, O salihin, O sabiqeen. You see, his commands at different level and stages are for the different levels of human. This ayat, which we have as our reference ayat, he is calling upon believers. So those who are not believers, let me explain what do I mean by believers. Within the Quran, you will find, "O believers, believe." So when the first time someone recites the kalima shahada, he becomes Muslim. Not a mu'min, not a righteous, and not a believer yet. He's just saying that I accept this religion to be my guide, to be my guidance. And so Allah call on them, "O believers who have recited the kalima, believe." So one more belief is required. One more faith is required. Believe in Allah. Believe in the book. Believe in the Rasul. Believe in Ulil Amr. Believe in angels. Believe in unseen. Believe in Akhirat. Do you see? It's not just one. Believe in Islam. Or believe in Muhammad Mustafa. Or believe in Ali Murtaza. But believe and then believe and then believe and then believe and on and on and on. Every stage on which you put your step, Allah will call on you, "Oh believers, believe. Respond to my call and the call of my messenger when he calls you, so that with their call, he may give you life." That is Surah 8, Surah Anfal, and ayat number 24. Why is he constantly calling us? That would be the question now. I'm already Muslim. I'm already reading Quran. And I believe I understand Quran. up to my capability, then why do I have to believe in other things? Isn't it enough for me to believe in Allah? Is that enough for me to believe in Allah? All right. How about I believe in oneness of Allah? Allah is Kullu Wallahu Ahad. Is that good enough? If that was good enough, then how do we understand when we come to those ayat where Allah says, Ati'ullah wa ati'ur Rasul? Why do we have to have obedience to Rasul when obedience to Allah should be good enough? If the belief is good enough to Allah and Allah only, then obedience should also be good enough to Allah. But that is not what Quran is telling us. And then if the obedience to the Allah and the Messenger and the response to the Allah and His Messenger when He calls on us should be good enough, then why does He say after Atiullah wa Atiur Rasul and Ulil Amr Minkum? Obey those who are near you and amongst you. And that why, and that question is easily answered for those who first have believed and those who are logical and intellectual. Because those who are not logical and intellectual, they will not be able to move forward after Allah. And if they are shown their logical side and their intellectual side by saying that we do need to obey the Rasul Khuda, then the answer becomes easy. That Allah sends, appoints, and always guide. Always means always. The human with his nur, which has come with his messenger, and those ulil amr who are amongst us, one with the amr ilahi, with the command of Allah amongst us. So now our reference point, that when Allah call and when Rasul call and when those who are the master of the amr amongst you, when they call, and the reason for the call is to give you a true life. Now, what about the life we are living today? Is this a true life? Or only true life could be received by the calling and responding? Two parts. By the calling and the responding to the call. So there was a time when Allah called upon people by His messenger. Who is Allah calling upon His people today? If someone said, well, we have Allah the messenger and the Quran? Why do we need someone to call us toward the Quran, the messenger, and Allah? Then my counter argument would be, there was a book of David. Why did we need it Musa? We had the book of Musa. Why did we need Hazrat Isa? We had the book of Isa. And that was the exact argument of the Christians and the Jews and the followers of the Ibrahim's argument with the Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Ali Murtaza at the time of Islam, that we don't need you. We have been called by Allah through the messenger, and we have the book. We don't need you. But you, as a Muslim, said, we do need a living caller, a living messenger, a living ulil amr amongst us, so we may be guided by him. So when he calls, we can hear and we can respond. We can hear and we can respond. Because we are not those great wali, anbiya and awliya who would the wahi through the angels would come. Allah's call will not come to us through the angels, because we have not reached that elevation as our prophets, Anbiyas and Awliya had. We are Garib and Nachiz. We are nothing and nobody. We need somebody in the middle who can help us. So when Allah calls, and when the messenger calls, and when the Quran calls, he is the one who will help us understand and listen to their call and to respond to their call. So let's come to our Quranic ayat once again. The above verse also says, and know that Allah stands between a person and their heart, and that to him you will be gathered. This is a continue and one single full ayat. O believer, respond to Allah and messenger, and those who are amongst you calls you, so they may give you a life. And remember, Allah stands between you and your heart. And that sound, that voice, that calling, that dawat would come from that heart. And Allah is right there in between you and your heart. All right. Let's come to our reference ayat. Now let's see Surah Baqarah, that is Surah number 2, ayat number 186. And when my servant asks you, I'm going to stop right here. Because you had asked, why do we need anyone other than Allah? Then Allah himself is telling you in the Quran, speaking to Rasul Khuda, that when my servant asks you, hold, Why can we not directly ask Allah? Why do we need Rasul? Because Rasul is the one who is near us, the one who speaks like us. He speaks our language. He is a human being just like you and me. Easy for us to ask, and when he gives us the answer, it's easy for us to understand, as we do not have the Zariya Wahi. Jibril is not descending on us to bring the message, the call of Allah. So respond with obedience. Labbaik. So when my servant asks you, O Prophet, about me, then tell them, I am truly near between their heart and them. I'm truly near. I respond to their innovation, dawat of the caller, al-da'i. So when you call, he replies back. And when he calls, you make sure that you reply back to him, because it is a two-way calling. It's not a one-way call. Let's take an example. You have a two friend sitting on right side of you and sitting on left side of you. And you are talking to the friend on your right side constantly. And whenever the friend on the left side calls on you and you don't reply to him, what happens after a few minutes, after 1 hour, after a day? Their friend will leave you because you are not responding to him. Because it must be a two-way calling. Allah said, I respond to you when you call on me. So respond to me when I call on you. It's a two-way contract, two-way communication, two-way calling. It's a two-way calling. When he calls upon me, so let them respond to me. And if we are calling him, asking question, being sawali through the Prophet, then through whom today do we call upon him? And through whom he will respond back? Allah said, I'm near him. Who is this messenger, wali, intercessor, appointee, selected, chosen amongst us? Who should we ask question today? And who will bring the answer back to us? So let them respond to me and believe in me, that they may be rightly guided. So if they believe in me, and how do we believe in him? I believe in Allah's oneness. I believe he always guide me. I believe he always have sent guidance with his nur to me. I believe he's always near me. I believe he always called to my calls. I believe, and I believe. It is not just La ilaha illallah. Because anyone can say La ilaha illallah. A kafir, like a Muslim, to save his own life, may say La ilaha illallah. That does not make him a believer. that makes him a Muslim, but the part of the submission remains to be seen. The action of the obedience is remain to be seen. After saying La ilaha illallah, he must follow through obedience, through his action. If someone at the time of the Huzur sallallahu alaihi wasallam had said La ilaha illa Muhammadur Rasulullah, and then never ever obeyed command of the Rasul Khuda, would you call him a Muslim? Probably yes, because he said La ilaha illallah. But would you call him a mu'min? Would you call him a believer? Would you call him a follower? Would you call him that he was the one who truly have said that Rasul is the true messenger of Allah, and therefore whatever message he will bring to me, I will obey. Action was required, and action is required today. For what purpose? So they may be rightly guided. And therefore, what do we find in Quran? There is always and always an imam amongst the people. Always. There is a time of prophets, imam were still present. There's a time of imams, and imams are present. They are the ulil amr amongst us. And today's calling is coming through ulil amr. So there was a time of the prophet and the amr and the nur. That does not mean that after him, Nozbillah, God forgot us and he forgot to guide us. That is not true. He is still guiding us. He is still guiding us. And how is he guiding us? Through the Imam of every time. Now also see Surah Rum, ayat number 25. And of his signs, ayat, is that the heaven and the earth remain by his command. The higher ranks and the lower ranks remain by his amr. Then when he calls on you through them, through that one single call from the earth, immediately you will come forth. And that call will come from the earth. So when he calls, answer him, respond to him, so he may give you a true life. All right, we have 15 more minutes. Let's say, oh, you who believe, respond to Allah and his messenger when he calls you to that which gives you life. And know that Allah comes between man and his heart, that to him you will be gathered. Explanation. As thought, in a sense, you were dead, because he is telling you that literally, in my eyes, you are not alive. In other sense, you are still dead. So let me give you a life. And the mode of receiving life and the mode of giving life is my messenger. The question is, dead with respect to which soul? Since we have the rational soul, the answer is that we have not yet received the soul, which is the perfect man. By rational soul, human are alive. But by the Ruhul Qudus, the highest perfect soul of the perfect man of the time. If this is the time of Adam, Ibrahim, Musa, Isa, or Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they are the Ruhul Qudus, perfect man, through whom he will give us life. If this is the time of the Imams, then this is it, Imam, who is the perfect man, through whom he will give us a life. So respond to his call. Study the divine command again in the above ayat with the inner eye of your heart, with your faith, with your belief, if you are a believer. Oh, you who believe, only if you believe. Accept the special dawat of Allah and His Messenger when He invites you to that which gives you life. That shows that Allah has identified and alluded to the life giver, messenger, Rasul Khuda. Rasul Khuda identified and pointed toward the life giver, the Ali Murtaza. And Ali Murtaza, in the continuation, have pointed to and draw our attention toward the caller of each time and every time. So we always accept the dawat through them of the messenger and through the messenger of Allah. So to that which gives you life, and that is the Imam Ali at that time and Imam Tahirin after him. And you have to know that Allah comes between the man and his heart. That is, when you accept this dawat, then being alive in the Azli and the Abdi, original and from the beginning, you will recognize your own higher I and God. Mullah Ali in one of his kalams says, those who recognize oneself recognize their Lord. Those who recognize themselves more recognize their Lord more. And then he will merge your lower I with the higher I. Ustad Buzurgwar write this in his book, Qur'anic Minarats, a wonderful book to study. In his other book, Precious Treasure, He writes something like this regarding this ayat and the understanding of this ayat. And know that Allah comes between man and his own heart, that to him you will be gathered. This wisdom-filled concept shows that man's heart is separate from his body, and by his heart is meant not the physical heart, which is a lump of flesh, but the real heart, which is the holy and the pure Ruh Qudus Imam Zaman, who is the real heart and the higher eye, Anai Ulvi of the Mu'min, which has to be attained. If not today, willingly, then tomorrow, unwillingly. The word qalb, that is heart, which referred to the Imam in the above mentioned verse, has many meanings, such as heart, intellect, soul, center of an army, kernel, marrow, the purest or chosen part, marrow, which is in our bone, the chosen part, essence, speech, core, and noble. So many different words and translation and the meaning of the word qalb. It is said that qalb is so called because it changes and turns. Dil, the word, ever-changing heart, sometimes is called the heart, sometimes is called the intellect, sometimes is called the soul, and many other meaning of it. All those meaning benefits the holy Imam. The Imam is the intellect and the soul of the entire universe. He is the real intellect, Aql Kul. He is the real soul, the Nafs Kul, of the higher soul of every Mu'min. He is the center of God's army and the contents of everything, from the army to the smallest part of dot in you. He is noble from every aspect. Therefore, one of his Ta'wīli name is Qalb Qur'an, meaning changing and turning of the heart. Ya Muqallabul Qulub, Ya Muqallabul Qulub, another call of Mawla Ali. Then, oh Allah, change my heart toward the one who can give me life. Change my heart toward the one who can truly make me alive. Change my heart so I may see your way through him. Ya Muqallibul Qulub. Imam is the heart of the Mu'minins. Allama Sahib writes in the spring of knowledge. Imam is the heart of the Mu'minins. God says, and know that Allah comes in between man and his heart. That is, God keeps the Imam, who is the heart and the center of the man and the humanity. Imam is also called the heart of the Quran and heart of the Surah Yasin. Imam, who is the heart of the center of the man and the humanity, in the well of the sacred secrets of the marifat recognition, so that his marifat, the marifat of the Imam of the time, Ali Zaman, may be the greatest trail, the test, and its reward, the bounties, the greatest favor of Allah on the mankind, on the mu'mineen, on the righteous. It is said, the heart of the mu'min is the throne of God. Subhanallah. We all truly believe that Allah cannot be encompassed in the heaven and the earth and in the entire universe, regardless of the size and the length and the width. But he can definitely encompass in one single soul in the heart of the mu'min. Allah himself says in Surah Yasin, وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ, I have encompassed everything, including myself, in the Imam Mubin. And if Imam is in your heart, then Allah is in your heart, as Imam is the heart and the throne of Allah. If you have the Imam in your heart, then Allah is sitting on the throne of your heart, the Imam. Subhanallah, subhanallah. Inshallah ta'ala, we are understanding the Ta'wīl of this ayat. You should understand that the heart of Mu'min is the Imam of the time. It is his holy personality in which divine nur shines. For as the verse Quran says, and know that Allah comes in between the man and his heart. That is, in the nur of the true knowledge, you should know the law of trial, the test. Why does God comes between man and his heart? So he may test you. That is the test by the Imam of the time. Indeed, the wisdom-filled allusion and the secret of the success in this is that one should have recognition, the resource to the God with his true heart, the Imam Zaman. He should return to him and further go wherever his heart takes him, wherever his heart guides him, as he is with the command of Allah to guide you. And I have no success except by God. Ustad Buzrugwar, Fruit of Paradise. And this is end of our chapter today.